Where is she? Let's see.
I know I keep turning mine on and off because I'm chewing.
That's okay.
And I think Kristen probably has the baby with her, so.
Yeah. We heard the baby before.
I heard him, so I'm on mute because he's chatty today.
Let me mute my TV. Hold on.
Does that mean they can hear me?
Yes, I can, Brittany.
That we weren't supposed to hear that, Jonathan.
You can use the mute on the mic up at the top. But, well, I don't know. On your screen, it might be different. Mine's up on the top.
Oh, I see it. I see it.
Okay.
Like I said, I'm going to give people about 5 more minutes to get here. It is going to be recorded. If you have any questions, feel free to put them in the chat or yell them out. Obviously, if there's going to be a ton of background noise, if you just mute, then unmute. You guys have all that control. And like I said, there's a lot of content today, so I'm going to try to get through it all. If it's just you guys who are in the class, it's going to be good because it's just going to be groundwork. We're going to touch on it all as well. Well, then there's a few other people that aren't in the class, unless they want to join.
So, quick question before
yes,
you
ma'am.
get started, Jonathan.
Yes, ma'am.
Will you have, do we take, I'm assuming, of course, we take notes, but will you have anything already printed up as far as like PowerPoint or anything like that that we could, have takeaways?
Yes, this slide deck is added into the class group for those that are registered for the class. I'll also email it out to everybody else. So this slide deck is available, and then there will be in the class section, there are some handouts and stuff for each week that I'm working on that we'll go over, as well as kind of what we're going to talk about each class. So,
great.
But take as many notes wherever you want. I usually write them on the back of a random paper that I'm never going to see again, but or in my notebook.
Yeah, I have my notebook. See.
Yeah. Okay. It is getting a bit group page heavy. You are correct.
Okay. Turn my volume down.
However, if they're still active, I keep them. You can make a group or page. Actually, you can archive it. If it's not an active group or a page, I recommend archiving it because it's a lot. I mean, I manage 20 some odd pages, so I feel your pain. And then there's groups and all that stuff. So if it's not active, I would say you can archive it.
You're recording this, right?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
So I'll have all the information there. Hello, Miss Amy. All right. So I said I was going to give him 5 more minutes. I gave him 5 more minutes. Let me just adjust things on my screen so I can see everything. That goes there, and that goes there. And this should be presenting. Okay. Can you guys see my screen?
Yes.
Excellent.
Yes.
All right. So, going to get started with Social Media 101. Really, I want to build a foundation for you guys to be successful on social. Social media is overwhelming for a lot of people. So really, this foundation is aimed at how you can be successful and how you can not be overwhelmed. So, Social Media 101, building the foundation for success, is really to give you the tools, strategies, and tips so that you can be successful. We focus on the 3 key pillars. And those key pillars are what I call CCE: content, consistency, and engagement. If you don't have those three things, it's going to be very difficult for you to be successful on social media. And that is where people quit, because people say, oh my God, I have to have posts every day. Or, oh my God, I have to create these posts, and where do the pictures come from? And then I got to engage with people. And then they get overwhelmed. And I get it. It can be overwhelming, but there are ways to make it easier. You just need to find the right tools for you to make it easier so that you can get through it without the overwhelm. And that is my goal, is really to provide you with ways to not get overwhelmed. Really go on this journey, because hey, social media can be a land of bliss and happiness, believe it or not. It's not just, oh my God, I have to do social media today. It's really, it can be fun and happy and get you lots of information and lots of education and all sorts of happy things. I swear, I'm not just crazy. So I want to take you on this journey. I'm going to show you some great things, including how you can plan your entire week of social media content in 1 hour. And I do it every week. It's not a joke. You can do it in an hour. So here we go. Content is king. So like I said, CCE, content is king, consistency is queen, and engagement is what you need to have social. So content comes in all shapes and sizes. We're talking about your pictures, your videos, your GIFs, your blogs, your inspirational quotes. That's all content. And it's the most important part of your strategy, because you need to have something to post. You need to have something for people to engage with. The other thing is content has incredible power. Like, if you put the right content out there, you can really attract the right people, the right tribe, and really what you need on social media, which is engagement. Now, you put the right content out there by basing the content on your story. Your story is what you want everything to be talking about, because your story is unique. Your story is why people are going to engage with you. And your story is the reason that they're going to really, really buy from you. Believe it or not, it has absolutely nothing to do with your product, because you can have the best product in the world, but if people don't like you and your story, they're not going to buy from you. So my chat keeps disappearing, so just yell things out. Remember, social media is supposed to work for you, not the other way around. Social media is free advertising for your business. That's it. It's not, you shouldn't be working for social media. It's working for you. So how do we create content? And what types of content do we create? So I used to just talk about the 9 essential posts. And social media has gotten a little bit more complex in the time. So now what I do is I talk about the 9 essential posts and what was a level up kind of thing, which is the themes. So your 9 essential posts are 9 posts that every business should try. And those are things like your product post, your customer post, your, what do I have there? Some contest posts, a day in the life post, your neighborhood posts, all those sort of things. They're just different types of categories, and they're broad categories that allow you to talk about your business without selling. So you're really talking about your business in a unique way. You know, how can you talk about your business through pizza? Oh, great. 2 Lorraines. Both Lorraines. How can you talk about your business through pizza?
I don't know.
Not a way. So, I mean, I would talk about my business through pizza because, you know, pizza is one of the most Instagram food on social media. And you need to know about these things on social media. So, I mean, I could do something like that. There's a lot of different ways that you can bring these kind of aspects. And it doesn't have to be pizza. It could be food. Obviously, pizza is a food, but any type of food. And when we talk about your themes, that talks about your photos. So those photos, your themes are your photos. What types of photos? Everybody, coffee. Almost everybody. How do you make coffee be about part of your business? Motivation, getting through your day, being an entrepreneur, doing the hustle, all sorts of things. Coffee covers a lot.
It's healthy.
It's healthy. So there's a lot of stuff that when we start talking about the themes, food, coffee, it works. So you have to look at these things and how you can use them to talk about your business. But also you need to have behind the scenes posts because they're unique. They engage people. You need to have motivational quotes as much as I hate them. And I do hate them. You need to have them. So your 9 essential posts. There is a worksheet. You can download that worksheet. In this deck that I will send to you guys, and those of you that are in the class, it's actually in the class group already. But you can download this worksheet so you have an idea and you can start writing like, this will work for me in this way. This will work for me in this way. And there's also a blog about the 9 essential posts that you can read more. But really, you're going to use it in conjunction with your themes, and these are themes for your photos. Now, you got to choose carefully and smartly what your photo themes will be, because you want them to talk about your story. You want them to talk about universal emotions, because universal emotions are going to get people engaged, because everybody knows love, everybody knows loss, everybody knows those universal emotions. So what are the universal emotions around your product that you can use in some way in a photo theme? How do I, like the overwhelm, I've been talking about it, and it's something that people feel very much with social media. This, oh my God, I'm going to scream, cry, and my head is going to explode if I have to do this anymore. That overwhelming feeling is a common feeling with people on social media. So it's a universal emotion that I've been using and talking about in my photos, in my pulling my hair out, in my videos, all of that. So you're going to have some themes that kind of touch on your story. You're going to have some that touch on universal emotions. Your pictures that are the inspiration and connection photos, and then the products you sell. Now notice products you sell is one bucket. The rest, there's 9 buckets there. 8 of them are not your product. Even though you can do up to 20% selling, I'm only giving you 1 bucket for product. I want you to think about different ways that you can talk about your business. I talk about my business with having the dogs as a story theme. There's different ways that you can talk about it. Be creative, but you really want to target with these themes, these photo categories. You want to talk about how you're going to attract your follower. What is your ideal follower? How are you going to attract them? What does your audience really want to see? Do I have any questions? Because I did lose my chat box.
Not yet.
Okay. This is going to come in really handy when we really start to look at planning your social media calendar, because this will help you plan it in an hour. This in conjunction with the 9 essential posts, you're going to put them on a sheet of paper and you're going to plan your content in an hour, and you're going to know what you're going to talk about. So we do that in depth in the class. We're going to spend the first 3 weeks really talking about this, and part of your assignment for that 3rd week that you're going to be presenting is creating a week of content for yourself. And it may take a little bit longer than an hour the first time, but you'll have it, and you'll be able to do it for that next week. You'll have a week of content already planned, and you'll be able to pop it in, use whatever schedule you want, and it's good to go. So we're going to talk about that more in depth in the class. If you're interested in enrolling now, I was going to put this link in the chat, but I don't know the chat link. Oh, hello, cat. Heard a cat.
I think you heard my cat. This is Cynthia. I don't have my video going, but I'm sure.
Okay. Hi, Cynthia.
Hey, Jonathan. Yeah, he's fussing at the back door.
That's my mouse. Okay, I got a mouse. There's a chat. There's that. Now let me go back to sharing. Perfect. So building from the foundation. So we're going to talk about the nine essential posts. You're going to use this as your foundation along with the themes. I'm going to provide you some input here as to things that I would not recommend. Like I try not to use stock photos as a main part of any of my content. They have a place in some businesses, but they're really not the best at communicating your unique brand because it's a generic photo. So wherever possible, if you want to really highlight your unique brand, you want to highlight what you do, what makes you special, you need to invest in getting your own pictures. Now, when I say invest in getting your own pictures, I can teach you how to get 9 pictures a day that can be used on social media really easy. And I promise you that your iPhone will take good enough photos, because any picture of me and my thing here is pretty much an iPhone photo. If you look at my entire feed, any picture of me in that feed is pretty much an iPhone photo. It's going to be good enough for your feed if it's good enough for mine. I say I'm a photographer. People expect a much more refined feed from me than they expect from anybody else. And portrait mode is amazing. I've posted a few times the 9 photos that you should take every day. Obviously, when you decide on your themes, and we'll talk about that in the first meeting, when you decide on your themes, we can edit that to work for you. Because there may be a couple things that you may not want to use coffee, you may want to use something else. You may, so those can be adjusted. I recommend that you limit the articles, posts, and the content you share from other professionals in your field, because you want to provide your own content. And the thing is, when you're providing content from somebody else, you're saying, hey, this guy does it better than me, or this guy knows it better than me, so I'm going to share this with you. Now, there is value in sharing other people's content. You'll see me share, Gary Vee's content. You'll see me share Jasmine Starr's content. They're very good, and they speak about things in the same way as I do, just a slightly different perspective. So there's value in that, but you don't see me doing that all the time. It's very rare that, maybe once every other week I'll post somebody else's content, and I generally try to post my own content. And it can be commentary on another post, it can be commentary on an article, but it should be something that you're providing wherever possible. Again, it's going to be the best way for you to show that you're an expert. It's going to be the best way to really highlight your business. So, no politics, religion, sex, drugs, and really only touch on the rock and roll. I say it lightly, but lightning rod issues in your content, avoid them at all costs. You never know who's in your audience, even though you do have an ideal audience. And I recommend that you are aware of where your content comes from and who else has shared it. I have had clients that absolutely didn't mean to get into trouble with it, and they shared it, and it had been shared by 7, 8 people before, and one of those 7, 8 people was somebody that they didn't want it to be shared from. It was somebody who was very radical, and it ended up, because anything that you share reflects on your business. So you have to be aware of that. You have to understand that if it's shared 15, 20 times, somebody in that 15, 20 people may be not what you want to represent your business. The closer to the source you can get, the cleaner the path, the better chance. But again, no sex, drugs, rock and roll. Try to avoid it. And professionally, I'm to the point where I don't include any politics on my professional page. Whether I like the way they're telling a story or not, it doesn't matter. I'll use another campaign somewhere else that's not a political campaign. So there's that. Any questions about that? Because we're going to go into some content creation strategies that are going to help you create content easier.
Hey, Jonathan, this is Cynthia.
Yeah.
A quick question. When
Yep.
you talk about this percentage rule of how many times or how much proportion you should present your business, are you talking about your personal page or your group page or your business page? I have personal, I have a page, an actual page for my coaching, which I'm not doing very well with, and then Tribe Carrier's group page. I get a little confused with this.
So in general, you should post educational, useful content that adds value to your followers on any of your business related pages. And that value-based content should be about 80% of your content. And then sales, based on whatever you're selling in general for the group, in most cases it's support and stuff like that, but you're going to want to only hit that about 20% of the time.
Okay.
Your personal page, and I tell this to people, including, as you know, like Mel and Susan, and where they're posting only their business on their personal page. And you can post about your business, but you should have actually a personal life.
Mm-hmm.
And people should see that. You should be able to post things that are outside, and I struggle with it. I don't post much personally, but you should be able to post your personal, what you're doing in real life. And it may touch on your business, but you have to be a real person. That's what gives you the authenticity. That's what allows people to connect. And it is going to help you really overall. So I say don't go too heavy at all on your business stuff. You can promote your events and stuff like there, but don't have a life and let people see a little bit of it. And you don't have to share all of it. You
Yeah.
can still be protective of what you share, but have a little bit of it.
Okay,
Does
well,
that make
that's pretty
sense?
much what I've been doing. I share some things. Like yesterday, I went to see my daughter, my new grandbaby, and I shared a couple of pictures of that. Just said, gotta have some baby love, some grandbaby love.
Yeah.
I have a lot of friends on Facebook because I've been on there about 12 years, really almost from the beginning, that are not following me at all in my business stuff, but or they're friends of my mother, and
Mhm.
so they weigh in like, oh, there's a cute baby. Woo, we got another grandchild.
Yeah, and that's all, and that is great because that's the stuff that makes you human, and people want to see that. And yes, you are going to have a lot of people that follow. I have friends and family that don't follow my business page and don't follow my group pages, and I'm fine with that because they're not my ideal audience there.
Of course.
So,
Yeah. Okay.
right.
That's very good. Thank you so much. That was a good answer.
Okay. Yes, Jackie.
So what if, so like you have a personal page, a business page, but what if your branding is related to some of the stuff that's your personal page? Like I'm a family therapist, so you'll see a lot of family photos and stuff because I feel that makes people see you as real. I agree with the erring on the side of caution. I don't get into political or religious debates, but there's some things that to me are convictions and they're non-negotiable, like child abuse, things like that, where I will post that. People might then chime in and go, spare the rod, spoil the child kind of thing. I don't believe in that. I just wouldn't engage with someone who's like trolling my page like that. But I think you do have to have some ability to stand out and stand for what you believe in, right? That's your brand.
Yeah, I mean, it's your brand. It's what you stand out, what you believe in. If it's part of your brand, it's part of your brand. I just be very careful that you are clear on what's part of your brand and you're clear on what's not, because lightning rod issues can very quickly go from, this is my brand to, whoa, this is not what I was talking about.
Right.
So you just have to be very careful about where you stand on certain issues. But obviously, and there's a lot of brands and businesses that are, religious in nature and stuff like that. They are not necessarily people that I would work with because I am a very strong, I don't do politics, religion, sex, drugs, rock and roll, none of that. But there are obviously people that would be there and would support them, and it's not wrong. It's just how I kind of deal with things, because I could get into lots of debates on all sorts of politics and religion if I even get anywhere near it.
So just don't get into debates with people.
Right. Mm-hmm. And be aware of what the issue really means to other people as well. Mm-hmm. All right. Content creation strategies. These are things that we're going to talk a lot about in the class, but we're going to talk about documentation, not creation. So what I mean here is, what are you doing today? you're taking a class about how you can, do better on social media to promote your business. You could create behind the scenes content of you taking this class. As a matter of fact, my camera is right there. I posted on my stories, that I was ready for the webinar. There's somebody standing in my driveway. Great. I can see my cameras. What he's really saying is, don't waste time creating content if you don't need to create content. Now, we're not all as exciting as Gary Vee. We're not all jetting around the country. We get that. But you do have daily activities that you're doing that you could document. Get a recording device, use your phone, whatever it is, even if it's sometimes just pictures of you at a meeting, presenting at a meeting, or you being a part of your community by volunteering. Whatever it is, especially if it's going to be part of your brand, it's a great way to capture content without having to create content. Because just think, if you do 3 things that are interesting in a week, that's half of your content for the week. If you really look at what you're going to be doing when you're laying out, and I'm talking about your feed content, obviously you'll need stories and stuff like that, but that is, if you do 3 things that are interesting, that's a huge time saver. You're not creating content for that. This is great for even story posts, more informal posts. The other thing that it's great for is authenticity. It is a huge time saver, and it shows you as real because you're doing real things. Challenges with this type of content creation is remembering to set up a recording device. Yeah, all the time. We always forget to set it up when we need it. Or, you aren't as interesting as Gary Vee is, which is possible. We're not all that necessarily that interesting. But that's one way to do it, create content without having to create content. Now, how many of you guys have a blog?
Used to.
Yes. It doesn't get much love, though.
Yeah.
Now,
I have to revive it.
all right. Hey, I'm going to recommend you revive it. Not only is that my next webinar, but it is so great for you to be able to pull content from that, refer people back to your website because that's the source of the content. But not only that, I write my blog, and every time I write a blog, I make it a minimum that I create 10 posts from that blog. A minimum. Now, I do that as I'm creating the content and posting the blog. I pull out 10 posts and I put them onto my calendar. Now, I may not schedule them until the end of the year, but I have content on my calendar 12 months in advance because every time I write a blog, I have content that I pull from it.
Wow, that's awesome.
And it's so easy because it's fresh in your mind. You know what you're talking about, and then you may want to do right now. You might be focusing on this, so you'll put a couple things in right away. But then 6 months down the road, you might want to revisit it. Like in March, I'm revisiting the 9 photos you should take. I will revisit that. I have some posts ready to go for that, as well as a challenge that I'm working on. So I'll have content already created around the blog, and it's already there, so I can reference back to my own page. This is huge. And if you take the time, writing blogs can be a little hard. But when you really focus on it, and that's my problem, I don't always really focus on it. When you really focus on it, you can bang out a blog in an hour and a half and have that content ready.
Mhm.
So, and then you have pictures that you're already preparing that are ready to go with it. So it works because you already have the content, you already have the knowledge, and many times you even have the pictures that you're using in the post. Challenges are, if it's the only tactic you use for content, it will feel old quickly because people will be like, okay, you wrote a blog post. Okay, you wrote a blog post. Okay, you wrote a blog post. So what I do is I generally will only include 2 blog posts a week if I at the heaviest point. So I will include it twice a week, and it may not be the same blog post, but only 2 a week. So repurposing content is the next one. You've already created great content. It has value. You've posted it before in some form. Why not rethink it, repurpose it, reuse it? And I'm going to use the example of as you guys know, I belong to a BNI group, and I build out content for my weekly presentation every week. And that's content that I really utilize as standalone social media content. And then I work that content into a presentation that is my spotlight presentation every 9 or so weeks, every 10 weeks, hence the 9 strategies posts, like all over the place. Like the 9 is because I go every 10th week. So I have 9 things to talk about before I have to present. Then I present on those 9 things as my big topic, or the other way around. And then that I turn into a blog post. And then generally that blog post becomes a webinar, which focuses on maybe 1 or 2 of the key aspects. And then I break those aspects into regular social media posts. So I'm getting like a full life cycle out of all of my content. I'm using it in multiple places, not only for social media, but for BNI. So I'm not constantly creating content. Think about ways that you can talk about your business on social media and in other places that will help you build an audience, build out yourself as an expert, and not create more work. Because you shouldn't be creating more work to create content, because it's just talking about your business and you know what you should be talking about. Yeah, if you have a new item, if you have a new service, a new offer, yeah, you can, come up with some new stuff, but you don't have to come up with new stuff. Repurpose it. Repurpose it as videos. Repurpose it as lives. How many of you guys go live regularly on your social media?
I did some before the end of the year, but I haven't been very regular since the beginning of the year. Got to get back to it.
Yes, Brittany, you raise your hand.
Sorry.
I know Betty's going to be going live because Betty just finished the live video challenge. Lorraine, are you still going live? Lorraine W.
Not as much as no, not for ages really. So I'm hoping to do that. I'm trying to sort out an easy way of putting the captions on. I don't really like not having captions.
And the ones they add in automatically are generally awful.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
I mean, Jonathan, for me, I've never done live, so I'm willing to explore that realm.
Okay. I may not be the right person to teach you, but I will do my best to help you out with what I know.
Cool.
But, yeah. But there is, I am shocked, honestly shocked with the results of my live videos. The engagement is through the roof. Like, I put a post out there, it gets seen by 20 people. I go live, it gets seen by 120 people.
Sure.
I can talk about it on a live video, or I can write about it for an hour. 5 minutes on a video, an hour to put a blog post out. I'm going with 5 minutes on a video, and then I'll talk about it a little bit and put the video in my blog with some explanation. I'm done. So there's definitely opportunities with the live video, or even recorded video, for if you're not comfortable going live. It is just the live video is making such an immediate connection with people and huge impact on the business. Those are some ways to repurpose content. And then I talk about this one, the write out the story arc. Because a lot of times people say, I want to talk about this maybe 4 times. And they write 4 separate posts. And those 4 separate posts don't really actually tell the story that they wanted to accomplish, because they're missing some chunks, and they, I needed to, this needed to be shorter, this needed to be whatever. What I recommend is, if you want to tell a longer story on social media, write out that longer story. Write it out completely how you want to tell it. And then chunk it out into posts. Because 1, you're going to get more posts out of it. And 2, it's going to do a better job telling the story, because you're going to come up with good breaks once you have the story fully written, instead of, okay, that's enough, that's all I'll talk about today. If you had written maybe one more sentence, it might have made more sense, more impact, more engagement. So that is what I recommend. And it is a very simple idea, but I found it makes a huge difference in how I'm able to tell a story on social media. And it works great for story content, especially, if you're telling your story on doing it on Instagram, and you want to tell it on 5 or 6 slides, and you realize in that 5 or 6 slides that's too much text. If you just write the whole thing out and then come up with the visuals to match and break it up in a way that makes sense. Some challenges are, there's boring points in some stories, and I always say give the high points, give the stuff that matters, the stuff that's engaging, and then matching visuals with the story that you're telling, which again, building out a content library of photos will help you with, matching some visuals with things. Any questions about these ways to really build out create content without creating content? Nothing?
How many recording devices do you have?
How many recording devices do I have? Like 17.
You have 17 phones all over everywhere set up?
I have my phone, my iPad, my camera, my webcam, and my laptop.
That's 5.
Yeah. I have a lot.
Jeez.
And it's not necessary always. So, but, batteries die and stuff.
Well, you get some really good photos.
And most of them are from my iPhone. I mean, not my feed photos on Instagram unless they're of me, but most of them are on my iPhone. So I'm going to take a second from talking and I'm going to play this like 15-second video and drink some water.
Awesome.
Ooh, that's loud. That's not going down. It's really loud. Oh, good. That was really loud. Okay.
So it's so funny, the coffee shot. I can't even keep my eyes open drinking coffee in the morning. Never mind a coffee shot.
I know. It is actually one of those things that I find, like, my coffee shot was taken in the afternoon. That was my second coffee.
Oh, okay.
Come on, give me back my screen. I'll share. All right.
I think I missed a few of them. They went fast.
It did go fast. I'll go over them again. All right. Let's see. There's a lot of stuff going on in the chat. There, beach party.
That is the chat. I didn't even see it.
That is a success in social. Shout out Power Lunch. Yes, that was supposed to be got it. All right. Now let me see here. Where is my shared screen? There.
Jonathan, when we're doing these 1 hour for a week, we should also have in our back of our mind monthly themes. So
So when I talk a little bit about that, there are 3 levels of planning your content. The macro level, which is looking at your year and saying, here are the major events that are happening this year, and I should make sure that I have them on the calendar so that when they happen or when they're coming up, I remember they're coming up and I have a social media post about it. Because you don't know how many of my clients like say, oh yeah, I've got a big event that happens in June, and then they're a week away and they go, oh, I didn't create any social media content for this big event that is like a chunk of their business that happens in June because they didn't have it on their content calendar. So there's that macro level. Then there's the meso level, which really talks about what themes, in chunks of your year, in months and stuff like that, that you're really going to talk about. And you lay down those themes and those story arcs. And, February is love, and, all these things that you want to put in there. You lay those down on a monthly or a quarterly level, whatever works for you. And then when it comes to that week, and this is how I do it, I create my week the week before. So Sunday, I create my Monday through Sunday posts based on my themes, based on my categories, and the overall planning. So yeah, there is a little bit of a monthly and quarterly planning in there, but that helps you really get your weekly under control. All right. And this creating the content library with your photos is something that we're going to talk about a lot in the class. It is something that when you do it, it will make your life so much easier, because when you have something that you want to post, when you know what themes you're using for your photos, you know that, okay, I just need to go and grab one of these photos that I've already taken and I haven't used to highlight this particular point. So it makes a huge difference in what you have the content already.
Use anything specific to organize yourself?
Yes. So if I am organizing photos, I try to keep them in my Google Drive. But my trouble with that, and I try to keep them by theme. So like pictures of coffee, pictures of dogs, pictures of me working, and then by month. So like January, me working here. January, dogs here. So if I say, I know I took a picture of myself with the dogs that I really wanted to use for something back in March, I can go to a folder and find it pretty easily. And that's where I put them after I've edited them and they're ready to go on social media. Now, what I run into is I edit it thinking I'm going to use it on a story, and then I need it for a feed post, and then I have to resize it and stuff like that. But at least I have the photos in some sort of order. There are other tools. A lot of people use Trello. I am not as proficient with Trello as other people are. I find it a little cumbersome, but a lot of people use it. A lot of people like it. I don't know if you've tried it, if it's worked. If it hasn't, let me know.
I'm using it.
How is it working? And what are you using it for?
I'm using it to keep track of the posts that I'm putting on all these different social media sites.
Okay.
And so I've got like a list for each single one of them. And when I actually set up one with a new post, I put the picture in there and the text. And then as the post, I put, if it's in like 5 different groups, let's say the same post, well, I put that same thing in each one. And then as time goes by, like a week later, I look at all the interaction, and then I can go back in there on that particular group and put comments, the actual comments, the list of all the people that liked and disliked and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
That way I can look back. It's kind of an alternative to what Mel has been doing with just a spreadsheet. Right.
And I do mine sort of with a spreadsheet. I actually use it for when I repurpose content. So like I have my 9 essential posts, and I have a folder for each of those 9 essential posts. And I don't do it for every single post, but I have key posts that I look at and use that I might repurpose in some way. And I put those on a spreadsheet in my Google Drive. And then I have a folder that has the actual content and then all the tracking of that.
That's really good too. Yeah.
It's,
I'm doing it after the fact instead of before the fact. I need a planning thing.
Right. So I'll tell everybody this, I love Later for planning. A couple reasons why. One, it's cheap. It is cheap as shit compared to some of the other.
What is it?
Later.
What is it?
It's called Later. Yep. It is cheap because it's like $19 for my premium plan that I use for myself. So when I was on Hootsuite, that was $149. So yeah. So the other thing that it does is it allows you to visually see the content that you're posting.
Oh, that's nice.
Like your Instagram feed, you're able to see your actual Instagram feed, which is nice. So as you preview it, because one of the things that, it seems weird and you're like, I'm not going to really actually do that. But you do is you want your Instagram to look a certain way. Where does my mouse go with Zoom? You want your Instagram to look a certain way, and it allows you to see how it looks. So.
You're not sharing your screen, are you, right now?
No, I'm not.
Okay, just check.
Jonathan,
Yep.
I have a question. So
Yep.
what do you do when you feel like you're preaching to the choir? Everybody that's following you is following you. How do you use the social media to get more followers?
You don't just have your own group, you join other groups. You put out content that is engaging to your ideal audience. You look at different ways that you can, if there are people in your group that aren't engaging with you, why not? What are they looking for? Why are they there? There's different ways that you can look at it. You can also look at, you may be preaching to the choir, but how's your content landing with them? Is it actually what they're looking for, value-wise? Look at the questions that your audience might need answered. It's really usually what I say is look at the questions your audience might need answered and try to answer those questions. Now, they may not be the exactly on point with what you do, but if it's related, because your audience obviously is going to be related to what you do. Your ideal audience is going to want to buy what you're selling.
Mm-hmm.
So it may not be directly related, because I don't necessarily sell business consulting advice, but I talk about some specifics on how to run a business in my content, because it's what I do and it's one of my themes.
Mm-hmm.
And it touches on, if they're not running their business correctly, they're not going to have the money to do the social media, and the social media really isn't going to make a difference because their business isn't running correctly. So they're looking for answers on how they can get people into their business, and they're looking, I think social media is the way that I do that. It may not be the way that they do that, but I can answer questions that will show them what they need to do so that they can be ready for social media to answer those questions. And then, you have to figure out how you're going to get to them. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. I was just thinking a piggyback question would be is there anything other than those lightning rod topics that we want to steer away from that could be causing you to not be seen, with these things, the algorithms, if you play stupid games on there, if you do certain things like that, does Facebook or Instagram say, all right, this person's not serious, let's not post their stuff in the news feeds that much?
No, but what I can tell you is that the algorithm works in a way that if you create content that engages, you'll get more people engaging. So how you do that is start little and work it up. One of the best ways to get micro engagement is to use Instagram stories and Facebook stories, because people are more likely to engage with that content. When they engage with that content, so let's see, I have on my Instagram stories, I believe today I have some. Yes,
Well,
I do.
Cynthia and I can just post our grandchildren, because I put my grandson up there and I got 120 people interacting.
Right. Well, here's the thing. You're not going to want to do that all the time.
Wow.
But you will win when you do that, because when they click and like that or engage with that, when you post something about your business, they're more than likely going to see that, because when they see that you're clicking on your content, they don't differentiate what type of content. They just say, okay, they want to see more of their content.
Right.
So that's why things like, these micro engagements, I've got not a ton, but hey, let's see, 15 people voted on that poll, and 2 people clicked on the countdown to hear about that. That's fine, because those 2 people are more likely going to see my next amount of content,
Right.
whatever it is. And if your content is your grandchildren every 9 posts, let it be your grandchildren every 9 posts, because that's a post that's going to engage and going to get you people, more eyes on your content.
Mm-hmm.
The algorithm isn't out to get you. I promise you, it's not out to get you. It does sometimes make it tricky on how you can work and get more eyes on your content. But when you create great content that tells your story and you're targeting the right audience, you're going to get engagement. So it's really creating the great content, and the content should be yours. It should tell your story, it should be unique.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
All right.
One of the cautions that my 19-year-old grandson had for me today about putting grandchildren pictures on social media, I thought was very legitimate. He said, "Do not post pictures of your grandchildren who are over 5 years old, Mima." And I said, "Why not?" He said, "Because in the future, there will be people who will hunt and look all the way back in someone's life till they're back in a very young age. And if they're compromising things or something somebody can bully somebody about, etc., it's there and it's never going to be gone." And he said, "So do not put any pictures of me or my siblings because they're all over 5." I'm like, okay, I agree with you. And I have 26 grandchildren and only about 3 of them are below 5. So
You got 3. You got 3 you can post.
yes, I have 3.
Well, there was another thing too that I read about with the young children is the people who kidnap children and
Yes.
pedophiles and all of that. So
Yep, that is a growing problem too. Yep.
yeah, that's the other thing that's scary.
Yep. So I don't do too much posting. Like yesterday, my 3.5-month-old grandson, I put a couple pictures of me and my dog and my poodle and him up, and that was it, getting a little grandbaby love, but I don't do it very often.
Yeah. With everything, I recommend with everything you're cautious of what you put out there. With everything you're cautious of, be aware, like I've seen this before and I've told people to take it down. Like if you've got on your desk, airline tickets that have dates on them that you're going to not be there, and you take a picture of your notebook and underneath it is an airline ticket. And you don't want people to know that stuff.
That's right.
You don't want that to be out there. Be aware of it, because it is important that you take your own pictures. It's important that you put your own content out there, but you don't want to compromise things like that, like credit cards. I've seen people that take pictures of, oh, look at my new wallet. I can see your whole credit card number, you moron. But sometimes you don't even notice that it's there because it's just something that you don't see.
Yeah.
So.
People do that, they're taking a trip, they're on vacation, but, it's like some people I've noticed on my feed, they're like minute by minute telling people what they're doing, where they're going, and all that. I'm like, really?
There is that part of being authentic and part of having content out there. Now, what I tell people is if you are not home and you can post some stuff from out, but if you're going to be out for like 12 hours doing stuff, take the pictures in the moment, post them when you get home.
Yeah.
Just like my parents are away in Aruba. I have photos that they sent me. I'm not going to create those images and put them up on social media until they're back, because then I know that my parents are back, their house is safe, it's all fine. But I wouldn't say, oh, my parents are in Aruba, come steal stuff from their houses, So, all right, let's jump right back into captioning and then some engagement, because I want to get you guys through this and we're almost at time. So captioning your content. I have an entire blog post about captions that add value. That link is going to be there. I will send it to everybody who is in this registered here and all that, so you'll get it. But captions are incredibly important. People that say captions aren't important are wrong. Because you know what? Your daughter doesn't need captions. and neither does Kim Kardashian, but you're not a 14-year-old girl and you didn't create influencer marketing. You need captions. Captions help you tell your story. Captions help you get engagement. Your caption should be written in a very specific way. But let's go over a couple of quick things. Your caption is incredibly important. It should add value. It should help you tell your brand story. It should be clear and meaningful, and it should have a CTA. A CTA is a call to action, and that CTA is really, saying do something. Whatever it is, every caption should say do something. All right? Now, yes, they help you find the right audience. I'll speak a little bit about hashtags, and then I have a section in the class that's going to talk more about hashtags. Hashtags are hard, though. I promise you there's ways to do it better, but hashtags are hard. So I'll talk a little bit briefly about them. So this is what your caption should be. This caption is going to show you how to create a perfect caption. The first thing you need to do is say what you're going to do, or say what you're going to say. Then you will say it. Finally, you'll say that you said it and include a CTA to increase engagement. So that is how you structure a great caption on social media. Did you find this useful? Let us know in the comments below. That is pretty much the format that you should give in some way or another to every caption. Say what you're going to say. Say it. Say that you said it. What does that sound like? Anybody third grading essay writing? That's where I picked this up, but also that's just how you do it, because people understand it. When you say what you're going to say, you say it, you say that you said it, people understand it then. They understand the purpose of the caption, they understand what you're looking for, and they know how to engage. You want to level that up? Use a hook right at the beginning. Say, you know what, guys? You'll never guess what happened. Say what you're going to say. Say it. Say that you said it. Or, oh my God. So for those of you in the class, I'm going to actually have sample captions that work, that you can fill out chunks of yourself, and you can use them multiple times. They're just different samples that you have. So I'll be giving those out to you when we talk about captions. But you really just want to have a caption that says something that adds value, that asks them to do something. Because when people are asked to do something, they're more likely to do it. But if you don't ask them to do anything, they're not going to do shit for you. I promise you that, because people are lazy. All right. So now we're finally past content. Consistency is queen. So the content calendar scheduling, I got our trio of robots here, and we talked a little bit about it. So it's Mac, Mezi, and Little Micro. Macro planning, meso planning, and micro planning. These are really the three areas where you're doing it. Macro is your year. Meso is your month and chunks, 6 to 8 weeks. And micro is your week or your month, however you want to do it. So there are tips in here on how you can plan at macro level. You're looking at the big picture, what's happening during the year. Those are the big things. You want to really level that one up. Put your business goals in your macro so that your social media is working towards your business goals. All right. Meso level. These really fleshing out your month, talking about your themes, your concepts, what you want to discuss, the overall picture. You don't have to create the post there. You're going to create the overall picture. Micro planning is that week to week. And you're going to really then lay in the posts and schedule them. So that micro planning is where you're going to really do the chunk of the hard work. But I got a trick for you. Or actually, let me do this first. Things you should review before posting your content. Make sure that your post contributes to the story you're telling. And that story is the story of your business. Make sure everything you're posting looks, feels, and reads correctly and is brand appropriate. Like I said, Later has an Instagram grid preview tool, which is very useful. Make sure your story arcs have a beginning, middle, and end, and that you don't shuffle up a story arc and mess it up because something looked wrong, make sure you, before you post it, you make sure that it's in the right order. Make sure that holiday specific or promotions have all the important information and details for a customer. Don't say we're having a sale and it starts on this day and not tell them when it ends or how much the discount is or stuff like that. And is your brand story supported in the post? So those are things that before you actually post it, you should check on. He has the golden ticket. So here's what you're going to do. We're going to go through this in the class, but when you are creating your content and you're doing your week, you're going to take a piece of paper, and on the top of the paper, you're going to write the 9 essential posts. And then down the side of that paper, you're going to write the themes, your photo themes. And there may be a couple boxes that you're going to have to cross out, but then you're going to go, okay, first essential post is product, and my first photo theme is me. Okay, I'm going to talk about a product. That's that first post. The next post is customers, and the second theme is whatever your second photo theme is. You literally are going to go down in a diagonal, and those are the posts for your week. It's going to keep your content varied. It's going to keep your photos consistent, but talking about different things, and it's going to make your life so much easier. Because you're not deciding, you're just going down this chart all the way across those 9, all the way down those 9, and then for the next week, you start in the next one. And that's how you're going to build your content. Doesn't really give you much room to question it or wonder about what I'm going to talk about. We'll talk about how you build out photo themes that are going to work for multiple categories. We'll also talk about how these categories, so your neighborhood stuff might be different for you. You might want to talk about, health and fitness in your neighborhood. You might want to talk about neighborhood events that are happening, or weddings and formals and proms that are happening that people might need makeup for. Whatever it is, you're going to have different overarching areas that you're going to talk about. But when you have the pictures and the type of post, it's really easy. And you can do it in an hour on a Sunday. I promise you. All right. Any questions about that? The first 3 weeks of classes, we're going to be working on this concept. Just building it out and making it work for you. No questions.
I like your robots.
Like my robots? That's not a question. That's a statement.
It sounds harder than it probably is, Jonathan.
It does. It does. And here's the thing. I will give you some reference. When I first started to have to layer on that photo, the type of photo, because I used to just go on the 9 essential posts. I used to say, okay, these are the 9 essential posts. I'm going to talk about them. Here's how I talk about them. When you had to start layering on the photo, because you get lost if you don't have a set group of things that you post about, and then your overall presentation isn't consistent, and people don't know what you sell because you're not really focusing on those particular things that help you sell. So it sounds harder than it is, and it really is made to make it a lot easier. The content strategy, there's a few other people that use a similar strategy to that, and if I don't explain it well, I will give you the tools to kind of go see other people, because sometimes it just clicks with other people. It didn't click with me at all, and I'd seen like 5 or 6 people do it. It didn't click with me at all until I literally watched Jasmine Starr's video 4 times in a row. And I went, I think I get this. And then I had to, the 4th time, actually take out a piece of paper and do it. And I went, oh, this does work. Okay. So there are other people doing it. It's not just me, but it makes life easier in the long run.
So when you're doing that grid with the 9 essential posts going across and then photos going down,
Yep.
are you dating them for the month or no?
I'm doing it for the week. I do it each week, and I go, okay, this is my X for this week. And I start in the middle. So 1-1 is the first one. And then I go up or down, and put it. sometimes I create the grid, I use it for the month, but each week I just do a separate area. Because you want to keep it consistent, and there's only 7 days in a week. So
Right.
and then you just follow it down and go, okay, here's what I'm going to do, and then boom, boom, boom. It's not as hard as I'm making it sound, I promise.
All right.
All right. You still got to create content, and it's still going to take you an hour.
You're recording this, so we'll.
You still have to create content. It's still going to take you an hour, but you're going to have the framework to do that. So you're not just going, what am I going to post today?
Mm-hmm.
Because how much time do you waste when you're trying to figure out what you're going to post today?
Yeah.
At least, and even if you don't do it the way I'm telling you to do it, and you decide that you're going to do it each day, don't do it that way. It's going to take you longer than the hour. But if you decide that you're going to do it that day, at least you know what you should be posting about. So you have an idea. You're not going, crap, I don't know what I'm going to post about. All right? Because I, for the longest time, would go, I don't know what I'm going to post about. I know I have these things that I'm talking about, but how am I going to post? And then I talk about my business too much, or then I talk about something else too much, or I don't have a focus. So, all right, 7 strategies to increase engagement in 7 days. Engage with the people that are already engaging with you. Bingo. Because they're already engaging with you, so why aren't they going to engage more if you actually talk back to them? Always use a call to action in your captions. And I went through a lot of captions last week, and a lot of people don't have call to actions in them. And it's as simple as write yes in the comment if you agree. It's call to action. It'll get people to engage. Now, you want people to engage by commenting in at least 4 words. That is ideal. That 4 word is that threshold where it gets to be considered deep engagement by Instagram and Facebook. You want to get to that 4 words. But if they're not commenting at all, get to 1 word first. And then you can show them how you want them to engage with you, because when they say yes, you can say, thank you for agreeing. What did you like about it? Or, when they say great, you say, I appreciate that support. Give them the 4 words back, and they'll start to understand that that's what you want. And it doesn't have to be just 4 words. It can be deeper than that, but you want to get them slowly. Use that say what you're going to say it, say that you said it formula in your captions. Teach your followers how you want them to engage. The micro engagement tools on Instagram are going to be key, as well as on Facebook. Creating engaging support content so your business posts get more visibility. So that was the grandbabies and the stuff that's more interesting than maybe your business, whatever it is, that helps you get more engagement, get more people, more eyes on your post.
Jonathan,
Yep.
quick question. When you say micro engagement tools, what do you mean by that?
So on Instagram, and there are some on Facebook as well, there are options to do, let me go into my stories, get polls. I'm going to take a picture of us here doing this. And then I can hit this little button there where you get.
We're only seeing your screen right now.
Yeah, it's very hard to see.
Yeah, that's right. Stop share.
Okay, go back. Go back to where you did that.
I took a picture.
Okay.
And then I hit this button there. It's the 3rd button over. And it pops up.
Oh, this is on Instagram. Okay.
On Instagram. And in stories on Facebook, there are some
Yes.
of these.
Yes, I see it. Okay.
So all of these things that are at the top here, those are micro engagement tools. The poll, the questions, the countdown, the slider, the quiz, the chat.
Yeah.
Those are all micro engagement tools. Anytime anybody uses one of those, that actually says to Instagram, hey, this person voted on this poll. Yes or no? Great. They want to see more of their content.
Where in the world did you find that? I'm on Instagram, did a new post, chose a picture.
Stories. Stories.
Or I have no idea how to do stories. I'm going to have to learn how to do this.
I'll show you how to do stories. It's not that bad, but it is up on the top there. It is almost a different platform. And I actually use it as a different platform because when it gets to talking about my content, you can go crazy thinking about it. Because I have my photos as well as my business, and I talk about them separately on Instagram. Whereas Facebook, I mainly talk about my business. So.
Okay. All right. I see the stories. I'll do some research on it. Thank you.
I think I can put some stuff in the group about it as well. All right, now let me continue to share one more. We got a few things here we'll go over, and then I'm going to be done with you, I promise. Told you there was a lot of content today. This is really the last thing. How to level up your engagement by serving your audience more of what they like. And I use this is actually taken from a retail concept, but it helps you kind of create a little bit more structure as to what is doing well and why it's doing well. So I call it the social media rule of 3. You have 3 main parts of a post. The type of post, whether it's an image, a video, a slide video, a GIF, whatever it is, that's the type of the image. Then you have a type of caption, whether it's a funny caption or an educational caption or a quote or something like that. The theme is, again, the themes that you're using for your pictures. So mine is my dogs. When something works, like really works, like this video of my dogs really, really worked. So I tested some things by changing the type of image, by changing the type of caption, by changing the theme. Guess what? If it wasn't about my dogs, it did not do incredibly well. But hey, I at least learned that the dogs is what made that do well. So I got to keep serving up the dogs as part of my content, because that video got 40,000 views, where a normal video of mine gets about 10.
Whoa.
So did really well.
Instagram? This is Instagram or both?
Instagram on this one, but you can use the same thing for Facebook. You can look at it and say, I did this type of post, whether it's a video or live video or whatever, the type of caption. And you decide what kind of captions work for you. I'm snarky. My dogs are snarky. It's a somewhat funny caption. At least I think so. It's based on humor. Whether you find me funny or not, I don't know. But, and then the theme. And by changing only one thing at a time, it allowed me to see what it was that made this successful. So you can continue to kind of use this as a way to look at your posts that are really successful and say, okay, I need to serve them more of this. How do I do it? What made it successful? Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. It's a very basic concept that I pulled from retail, really. There's a quick video that explains it a little bit more. That's there. And then I'm going to talk about and sell my course, because we're launching next week. It is a 5-week course. We are going to go into all of this and more. In that 5-week course, we talk about content creation, smart scheduling, and we are going to put it to work and show me what you got so we can go over it and make sure that you really understand it. And we're going to talk about captions, and we're going to talk about engagement. As part of this course, you also do get 2 one-on-one sessions with me, 1-hour one-on-one sessions. The first one is this upcoming week. You guys should all try to schedule it with me before next Tuesday if you're taking the class. And we will talk about what you need for developing your story, kind of a little bit about your themes, your photo themes, and how you want to tell your story on social media. And that's going to be the main chunk of what we talk about in this one. And then before you graduate, you're going to tell me what you got, what you didn't get, what you need help with, so that I can support you throughout as you graduate. I can support you with those things that you're going to need. We'll make sure that in that Facebook group, where there'll be bonus trainings and all sorts of goodies in there for you once you've graduated the class, you can still continue learning there. You can be an alum. You can help new people in the class. But you'll get more content there as well, as long as the course is running, which I anticipate this one will be for a while. So you get those 5 classes as well as 2 hours of one-on-one training. If you register up until midnight tonight, the introductory price will be $286.60. It's a $593 value based on the hours that I'm putting into it for you all. You can enroll now. After midnight tonight, it'll go to its normal value of $375. So, and why $286.60? Because I'm a weirdo and I like weird numbers. So there's that. So that is, for those of you that are enrolled, I'm excited to have you. For those of you who aren't, if you're interested, please let me know. There is a payment plan available. If you don't think you can front that, it is a two payments. The first one needs to be in by Monday, February 3rd, and the final payment by March 3rd. So there's that. I'm terrible at selling, but I do think it's a great value for you guys. I'm giving you a lot of information, obviously. But if you're not interested, that's quite all right as well. I will still send you this content, and if you have any questions, let me know. I'll be going over some of this stuff in my regular group. We'll be going into it a little bit deeper in the class, and I am excited about it. I think it's a great opportunity to share a little bit of what I know and help you guys get rid of all the anxiety, the crazy, the overwhelm that happens on social media. So there's that. And also our next free webinar, because I have committed to doing a free webinar every month. So our next free webinar is February 10th at 6:30.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, coming up quick. And that is the benefits of blogging for your business. And I'm a big proponent of blogging, but I'm also doing it with Rich Lupino, who is a member of my BNI group, but he is also an SEO person. And some of these numbers are shocking. Like, you know, you have a 434% higher chance of being ranked highly on search engines if you feature a blog.
Yeah, okay.
That's a big number. So, in the webinar, I'm going to send you guys out this slide deck, so you'll have all this information. In this slide deck, all the links are active, so you can click on any of the links if you want to sign up for the course. If you want to sign up for the blogging webinar, you can do that. All that's there. For those of you who are registered for the course, I'll be loading this information into the class. Please take a second and schedule a meeting with me this week so that we can talk about any questions that you have and get you set up. And anybody else, I went a little long, but only 19 minutes. Do you have any questions? Let me know. I can answer them now.
Yes.
Yes.
Two questions. So first of all, with the one-on-ones, what do the one-on-ones consist of, Jonathan?
We are in this first one going to really talk about your story, because I want to make sure that you have your brand story, at least a good concept of it in place, so that when we're talking about all these ways that we can tell your story, that you're working on something that's actually there.
Okay.
So, because sometimes people don't necessarily know what their brand story is or how they want to talk about things. So we're going to kind of try to hash all that out. So I know what you're talking about, so you know what you're talking about, and we're all on the same page.
Right.
Then the last one is whatever help you need, what you didn't get from the class, what you're concerned about, how you're going to apply something, whatever it is at the end of the 5 weeks that you really feel like you need to talk about, we will hash out. And we can get a lot done in an hour.
So would that include, as far as Instagram goes, I'm not the best on Instagram. I'm still learning. I'm in the learning curve. But, actual help with how to post and how to work on Instagram. Okay.
Yep. And if there's questions about how to do basic stuff, and you guys are in the class, I can post that stuff in the group in the class, because I have a lot of tools, and some of it is being posted as well in the main group. I have a lot of tools that are sitting in my Google Drive, and I was like, these would probably be more useful in my group under units where they would apply. So we're going to make sure we do that, including the hashtag stuff that will be there.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. Any other questions?
The blog is something that you do on your, like a website. the blog is something you do on a website and then you post it on your social media?
Yes, the blog is something that you do on your website, and it is longer form content
Right.
that talks about a specific theme or themes. Let's see here. I have a,
I just wanted to make sure I was doing it right. I thought maybe there was some other blog area.
no, it's really best if it's on your website. And come on, I know I have my blog saved on this toolbar somewhere. There it is. And it really is like I have a lot of content on my blog, like a lot of content on my blog.
The articles that were in the group that you posted, those are blogs, right?
Blog posts, yep.
Yeah, they were good.
So, and I try to kind of go through a lot of different stuff that touches on social media, that touches on business. So it's there as a reference. And I have like 15 blogs that are in the works that I've got partially typed up because I want to have some of the content out for for you guys for the class as well. So there's some more stuff that's going to be coming out, but that's all there. And it's just right on my page. So the idea is you're driving people to your page. They might click off of the blog. You might link them to something else that's on your page. You might be able to include, get them to click, be interested in something that you offer, all of that, and it's driving people to your page. And then the best thing about a blog is you're establishing yourself as an expert in your area. That makes sense?
Yeah.
Anything else?
How do we schedule our appointment with you, Jonathan?
You can either shoot me a Facebook message. It's going to be the best. It's easier.
What was that? You
can just shoot me a Facebook message.
Okay.
All right. I'll be in BNI tomorrow. All right. Anything else, guys? You're free to go.
Yeah.
Go to bed.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you guys very much for joining. I appreciate it. I hope it was a lot of information, but I hope you could absorb some of it, and I'll get these out to you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Night.
Night.
Kristen said thank you.
All right, guys, let me end.